Well, good morning, everybody. Ron Wheeler here. I want to welcome all of you a little bit early to our options paycheck, how to generate 3% per month with one option trade per week class. I always like to start a little bit early just to make sure that the technology is working and everything is looking good. And let me just double check here on my side. Everything looks good on my side. So do me a favor. If you can see my screen, it should be a screen with some green and some white and a big $100 bill on there. If you can see my screen, hear my voice, just give me a quick shout out in the chat window. That way I know that things are looking pretty good and all the technology is working. We're not going to start the official presentation here until 12 noon Eastern time. So about 4 more minutes or so, and then we'll start the real presentation. But like I said, I always like to jump in and just make sure that everything is working first. So a couple of you that are popping in there, I see Richard, I see Elaine, I see a couple others. Thank you for chiming in. Let me know that everything is working. I do appreciate it. So anybody, and then I'm also broadcasting this on YouTube as well. So hopefully that's working. I can't see the comments there. And Tony, I see you as well. So thank you for checking in and letting me know and making sure everything is okay. All right, I'm going to go, oops. There we go. I actually just switched it to an unair. Oh, looks like my camera's not working. That's weird. Normally my camera comes on right about now, but it looks like it's not working. There's a little thing in the upper right-hand corner, and normally that pops in there, but I don't know. I guess I'll have to figure that out for the, well, I'd say the next session, but, normally you guys can see my face for radio up there, or as one of the YouTube channels I've listened to in a couple times, a face for radio and a voice for TV. Anyway, Elliot, welcome to you as well. Now, do me a favor, while you're chiming in, before we start the official presentation, I'm just kind of curious, what time is it by you? I mentioned that it's almost noon. I'm in Ohio, so I'm Eastern time, I should say. So I've got some colleagues here that are from our North Carolina office. VectorVest has an office in North Carolina and Ohio. I work out of Ohio. Most of my other colleagues that you hear in education work in North Carolina. I guess I'm unique. All right, Richard, I see 9 a.m. Central, or 9 a.m. You're out in Pacific time. Joe, 7 or 11 a.m. I see a couple noons. Mike's one of them, noon. I see a couple more 11s, couple more 9s. All right, cool. So it looks like we're kind of broadcasting, pardon me, all over the place in the U.S. so far. Dan, 10 a.m. Elaine, I guess I shouldn't say U.S. because you could be Canada too. Speaking of, I'm kind of curious. Where are you guys from? Are you retired? Do you work? Do you still work? What do you guys do? The reason I ask this question is, when I first put together the idea of income option trading, I originally designed this for retirees that were looking to create additional income streams for their retirement. But I found through the years that really anybody takes advantage of this. So it's not only for retirees, it's for people like me. I'm 47 years old. I still work. I was just kind of curious to see what the demographics are if you were. I see a couple retired, Joe and Elliot, William, Tony. Dan, welcome. Let's see, retired, semi-retired, Ryan, Richard, retired. Retiring at the end of the year, Rusty, congratulations. As I always tell everybody, I was born to retire. Fortunately, a good thing for me is my chosen profession was trading, which is nice because I'll always be able to trade, which is always nice. So that's a good thing. All right, a lot of folks retired. Mike as well. Poland. There you go, Lucas. If I pronounced your name right, I hope I did. Poland, 6 p.m. Awesome. So I see my first European crowd there. All right, well, let's do this. It is the top. Oops, wrong button. It is the top of the hour. So give me 1 second here. And let's officially get started. I want to welcome all of you again to today's webinar. It's regarding what we call the option paycheck and how to generate 3% per month with one option trade per week. Now, I'm going to be showing you the system that I developed here at VectorVest. It's going to help you generate income in any market. And the information that we're going to share with you has not only changed my life, it's changed a lot of lives. And I've seen it change the lives of so many people. So I hope you're excited about it today. I have 2 questions for you. First, since we're talking about an income system, what percentage gain are you expecting to see from a low risk income system? coming into this, notwithstanding the title of the course, what do you expect to get from a low-risk income system? Now, remember, income is something like a paycheck, something that, should come with a high degree of certainty. What are you looking for from me, I guess you could say? Philip, I'm sorry, not Philip. Philip, you're retired, also welcome. And then Richard, you mentioned 25%. I see 3%. I see 2%, 15 to 20%. 8%, 5 to 7, Elaine says. Philip is at 8. I see beat inflation. What's inflation now? Like 8%. Of course, what really is inflation? Let's be honest, right? Because let's be honest, the CPI numbers certainly don't reflect anything that's real. We could get into that conversation for a long time, but we won't. All right, so from what I see, 7, 8, 10, 20, 25, I think you all have realistic expectations. That's good. Because one of the things I like to do is dispel the notion of unrealistic expectations. So I don't see anything unrealistic here. Now, the second thing is, how long would you expect if I could show you those types of gains? What would you expect, and how long would it take you to learn and then actually start using that type of income system? What do you think? Couple weeks, couple months, 6, 7 months? How long do you think it should take you to start using that type of an income system? Tell yourself 20% per month, 20% per year, pardon me, not month, that's ridiculous. What do you think it would take you to actually implement that? Okay, Joe, you were first, 6 months, Mike, a couple of months, Philip, 1 month, 3 months, Elaine, Tony is 3 months, Richard's 1 month. All right, I don't see anything, really outlandish there either, to be honest with you. I don't. 2 months, 1 to 3, Elliot, Carl. I don't see anything ridiculous. Well, I've got a promise for you today. I'm going to show you how you can actually begin making a paycheck that averages about 3% per month. Now, that figure is based on the fact that our portfolio and most of our clients are generating on average 3% per month with our most basic income strategy. Now, keep in mind, you can do this regardless of market direction. You can do it with little to no prior experience with options. It's safer than simply going out there and buying and selling stocks. You can implement quickly. So the information you're going to learn today allows you to have a worry-free retirement. Now, I know this sounds too good to be true, and you might be thinking, hey, is this legit? And you'd want to see some proof. Well, I would too if I were you, because I see those annoying, overhyped advertisements. They're standing next to their fancy cars, their private jets. Listen, I'm not like that. That's why I asked you up front, what do you think is a reasonable expectation? You guys were all reasonable. Well, I like to let the results stand for themselves and let you decide. This is the results of my simplest trading strategy I teach my students. It's about 1 trade a week on the S&P, and it only takes about 15 minutes to enter. If you started with a $5,000 account, you'd have gained about $17,000 or a 350% return. $5,000 back in 2016, and you'd be sitting at about a 350% return. Now, you could trade larger accounts too. What if I've got 50,000? Well, add a 0 to both numbers. Now, keep in mind, it doesn't just go straight up. There's going to be periods where there's some pullbacks, kind of like here, right, where it went sideways for a while, kind of like here where there was some drawdown. That's how it works. All right, that's how real trading works. There's going to be those times, but if you continue to invest and do this consistently, you will see a gain. Now, some of my clients were kind enough to share their photo and their results with you, and we're going to talk about a few of them today. And these are real people just like you. So as I teach you the system and share their stories, I want you to pay close attention because you might find you're in a similar position now as they were when they first started. Now, my name again is Ron Wheeler, and I'm the Options Income Coach here at VectorVest. I've been trading now for 26 years. Now, when I first started trading, like a lot of people, I had a lot of losses. I actually blew out a couple of my first trading accounts, and the reason why is because as a trader, I was trading in a way like most people where you had to be right to make money. So if I thought something was going to go up, you went out there and bought it. If it didn't go up, you didn't make any money. If you thought something was going to go down, you sold it. If it didn't go down, you didn't make money. It's kind of like a zero-sum game. So you got to learn how to accurately or moderately predict market behavior. Then you got to learn how to manage your money. How do I make sure that I'm not making $100 in all my winning trades and losing $300 in all my losers, right? It's a fine line as a trader. I was very fortunate. I had some of the best traders in the country teaching me how to do this for free because I worked in IT for a trading company. I got very, very lucky in my career. Well, when I first started out, I traded commodities, futures, right? I didn't really trade options. I wasn't an options guy. Well, a couple of years into my career as a trader of commodities and futures, one of our clients who used our analysis and our software that we had at the time came to our office to visit. He's like, Ron, I know you're not really an options guy, but let me show you what I do with options. Well, long story short, what he did is he showed me how to use the analysis that I already used and increased probability in his trades. What he did was great. He took a trade where I would be stopped out because the market went against me, and he still made money because his trade had room to make money. It could go up, it could go down, it could go sideways, and he still had room to make money. Think of how much burden that takes off you when you start doing things like that. And then another cool thing was the option trades that he was doing, right? He was fixed risk. He knew his profits were ahead of time. He knew his loss was ahead of time. It made it really, really easy to manage money. Now, at that point, I had already been trading successfully for a couple of years. I was over my losses. I was trading successfully. And I started putting some of that option knowledge to work. I kind of put some in my back pocket. And I started dabbling a little bit more with options. Well, fast forward probably about 7 or 8 years from there, I decided that I wanted to get away from the day trading and really concentrate on more of a hands-off approach. That hands-off approach was options trading. And that's what I've transitioned to today. I am basically 99% options at this point. I trade still occasionally a commodity or future, but I'm going to trade 99% options at this point. This is the journey that I'm going to take you on to. That same journey that I took. So I'm going to show you today the exact system I use to generate these types of returns. I'm going to show you case studies, examples of our clients who are doing this. And I'm going to show you our system so that if you learn and follow our strategy, you can do the same. I'm going to prove to you that our options paycheck system will get better returns safely, safer than trading stocks or options alone. And I want you to stay with me to the end because I put together a checklist to help you plan out your trades. It's a PDF. I'll put it right in the handout section. So I'll drop it in there and you can click on it and print it out. But do me a favor, remind me when I get to the Q&A section because a lot of times after about an hour, I simply just forget. Okay? All right. Why is this such an important topic, the whole income? Well, without an income system, it's on you, and that creates a number of problems. If we're not retired, it keeps us stuck in a situation where we have to work in order to live. Whether you got a lot of money or no money at all, concerns about finance are one of the leading causes of stress. Worrying about whether we'll have enough or if we're going to run out of money, that can have a huge impact on your life, your health, even your relationship. And if you're already retired, you might be watching your savings get depleted faster than you can fill it. Especially, as you know, with inflation and prices going up so much. If things don't improve, you may feel you'll have to continue to have those losses that draw down your balances. You'll get behind on your goals, maybe even question your ability as an investor. You might even fear you'll have to give up on investing and go back to work. Worst case scenario, you'll run out of money during retirement. However, with a system to help you generate income, things are a lot different. And I believe this is probably the most important point of the webinar. So pay close attention and write down what I'm about to say. In order to become financially free, our main need is income. To be financially free, all you need to do is learn to generate enough income from your investments that covers your expenses and lifestyle needs. So I'll say that again. In order to become financially free, you have to learn to generate enough income from your investments to cover your expenses and lifestyle needs. Now, whether you're still working or retired, the ability to generate income from your investments is one of the most empowering skill sets you can have. Because when you have the ability to generate income, your life will change. If you're still working, you can increase your earning capacity. It's like having a second job. If you're retired, you can have a consistent source of income as if you quit your job, but they kept paying you. It's like a tap you can turn on whenever you want. This allows you to do the things you want to do now and when you retire. When you got a system to help you generate income, it can help you retire younger. Now, as I said, I believe this is one of the most important points of the presentation, so I'm going to say it one more time. When the income from our investments exceeds our living expenses, we become financially free or have the ability to retire. For example, Brian's a client of ours who's a great example of how easy you can become proficient at drawing an income from the market even if you don't want to start with a lot. He had some health problems and needed a way to supplement his income. By using the paycheck system, he was able to generate $23,000 in profit, starting with just $6,000. He actually had a 100% winning trades over 10 months, 31 of 31. Now, the key point here is this isn't beginner's luck. It was the result of following the system. The system is what helped him get those 100% winning trades, create that $23,000 in profit, starting with just $6,000. Now, the first thing you need to know, if you want to take control of your returns, it's a bit of a strategic mindset shift. You're either going to continue being the gambler where you lose more than you win, or you're going to become an option seller and win more than you lose. Now, being an option seller is the way you can make consistent income every month, and it allows you to win even when you're wrong. Now, why do you want to be the seller, or as I like to say, the casino in this case? Well, the casino always wins, right? Why do casinos always win? It's because they control and they stack probability in their favor. The options paycheck system is built around you stacking the odds massively in your favor. So make a note of this. In order to control your returns and results, you need to know how to stack probability in your favor. Well, the obvious question is, how do we do it? The first step is that shift from being the buyer of options to being the seller. So let me explain. Bruce is a great example of that shift from gambling on stocks to being the casino and controlling and stacking probability in his favor. He said prior to working with us, he had mainly taken stock tips from his broker. But he focused on our SPX income system, which is our most basic trading system. As he said, he's not the most technical person in the world. But in the time he's been working with us, he's grown his trading account from 100,000 to 497,000 in 3.5 years. He's achieving a 74% win percentage simply by following the rules of the options paycheck system, and the whole system takes him around 15 minutes a day. So let me show you how this works. Here's an example of a typical trade you've been taught to make. You find a stock you like, you think it's going to go up, so you either buy shares of it or you buy a call. Now, why do you buy a call option? Well, mainly because when you started learning options, it's what you were taught to do. But what ends up happening a lot of times? Maybe the stock doesn't go up, or worse, it doesn't go up maybe enough, and that call that you bought ends up expiring worthless. Has that ever happened to you? Yes? Well, what's the problem that's causing you to lose? Most people feel the problem is, well, maybe they picked the wrong stock. They got to get better at that. Well, maybe I'm an options newbie and I picked the wrong strike price or the wrong expiration. Well, the heart of it all, let's talk about the real problem. If you've been losing money or had more losers than winners with other systems, it's not necessarily your fault. It's because most of the systems on the planet teach you to be on the wrong side of the trade. You're taught to buy an option. But as a buyer, the probabilities are not on your side. And for most people, they end up buying and losing and buying and losing and buying and losing. It's a vicious cycle. Our options paycheck system teaches you a new way of thinking. You need to be a seller and not a buyer. That's how you get ahead of everyone else. That's how you put probability on your side. That's how you win even if you're wrong. So let's take a closer look at selling options. Now, as a buyer, a typical trade would give you a 50-50 chance to be a winner. That's because when you buy, the only way you make money is if the stock moves in your direction. So instead of having what we call this buyer's mentality, I want to switch you to a seller's mentality. Instead of hoping a stock goes up, as a seller, you're going to strategically set up your trade using probability. Now, probability will tell you where the stock is not likely to go. So you've got a stock at $204 a share, and what you're basically saying here is saying, hey, I can make money as long as the stock stays above 195. There's a 60% chance this stock will stay above 195. Think about what that does. You pick that price of 195, and as long as A, the stock goes up, you'll make money. But if the stock goes sideways, you still make money. And as long as the stock stays above 195, you're still going to make money. So that arrow going sideways, that arrow going down, you'd be a loser as a buyer. But as a seller, you're allowing this stock to move in different directions and still have the probability of winning. Right off the bat, probability is in your favor. Now, in some trades, we can increase that probability even more. We would choose a lower price. Now you got a $204 stock, and you're saying as long as it stays above 190, I can make money. A lot of our trades actually start off with about a 70% chance of success. And you can only do this as an option seller. As a seller, you're putting the probability of success in your favor, and this is the definition of an income trade. An income trade, simply put, is one where you can make money even if you're wrong on direction. Now, Bruce, by the way, continues to trade with me every week. In fact, he recently posted in our private Facebook group and said, another day of trading on the beach. Got my eyes on AMC and a cold beer. AMC is one of those meme stocks. We actually traded that pretty well this year. Life's good. Thank you, VectorVest and Ron, for giving us the tools to do what we do from anywhere. That is a great picture of financial freedom. Now, Mike's another one of our clients, and he's someone who dabbled with options but said he lost on each of his trades. Can you imagine how frustrating that must be to lose on each of your trades? Well, eventually he gave up on it. He went back and tried to learn more about options, but he said he never felt comfortable he knew what he was doing. He had all this options knowledge, but no set criteria of how to use it. Well, Mike and I worked together. I taught him the options paycheck system of being an option seller, and he said he became like an income machine. He learned the system, he implemented it, and in his first 19 trades, he had 17 winners with a $12,000 profit over 4 months. Now, the key lesson here is these guys going from buyer or the gambler to seller or the casino or house, that's what turns their situations around. Now, Mike was proud of his results, and he actually sent me a spreadsheet of his trades. Here's his results. Notice the number of winners versus the number of losers. Now, that's typical. That's this column, and let me put on my little laser pointer real quick so I can kind of direct you to the right spot. This right here is the profit column. That's the winners. This is the losers. Pretty typical. Notice the work days to close the trade right in through here, right? About 7 to 10 days on average. Every 7 to 10 days, he's pulling in about $1,000. That is what we refer to as good income trading. Now, if you're like Mike and a lot of our students, you can simply just get started with something as easy as the S&P 500. And that's that chart I showed you early where it's averaged about 4.5% per month since about 2016. The odds are stacked in your favor on these trades. We're not looking to become a millionaire overnight with one big home run trade. You're growing your account steadily with limited risk year after year. And that's really the key takeaway here. Home runs look good, but singles are what wins games. It's what keeps you investing and keeps you drawing that income. Okay? That's what's going to allow you to never run out of money and do the things that you want to do. So you've seen simply by flipping the buyer from buyer to seller, you get to stack those odds significantly in your favor, like Bruce, like Brian did, like Mike did. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to stack the odds even further by understanding and capitalizing on the 3 most common buyers or gamblers' mistakes. Why does a buyer lose money? Well, let's talk about it. First mistake is they choose unrealistic strike prices as option traders. They choose option strikes that are so far away the stock has no chance of hitting it. Here's an example. Let's say you're bullish on this stock. A mistake that a lot of option buyers make is they've got this $216 stock and they go out and buy a call that's way up here at 230. That basically means to make any considerable money, the stock's going to have to go up $15, $16 a share. If it doesn't, you make nothing. Why do people buy options like that? Well, because they're cheap. They're inexpensive. I can buy this thing for $50, but I can make $3,000. That's like the Powerball, right? Most buyers treat their options exactly the same, like a lottery ticket. And most of the time, they end up losing. Since there's always going to be buyers out there who buy those types of options, we're going to be the one who sells them those options. There's got to be a seller out there, right? Since those options have such a low probability of getting hit, that gives you a high probability of winning. Now, the same goes for puts. When do you use a put? A lot of people use puts when they think a stock is going to go down. It's the idea of short selling, essentially. You think a stock goes down, you buy a put. Or there's people out there who own stock and they buy puts to protect themselves. That's great. Listen, it doesn't matter why you're buying these puts well below the market. Since there's always buyers out there, they need someone to be the seller. That's me. When I sell those options to them, I'm giving myself a 60 to 90% probability of success right off the very start of the trade. There's no trading strategy here. There's no indicator I'm going to show you. It's all about using probability and math to create a statistical edge here. That's what this is all about. Now, in the option world, mistake number 2 is they choose expiration dates that are way too close to the current date. It's like going to a grocery store and seeing a piece of steak on the discount rack. Well, yeah, it's cheap, but it's cheap because it's going to expire that day. You got to go home and cook it that night. Same is true for options. Here you'll see what happens to the price of an option in relation to the number of days until expiration. I want you to notice something. Over 180 days, that's what you're seeing, and I'll get out my laser pointer again. That's what you're seeing in the upper left-hand corner. 180 days to the expiration of that option, all the way down to when that option expires. It took 180 days, the option lost all of its value. However, if you kind of split this up, right about here is that 50-50 level. In 135 days, the option lost about half its value. In the remaining 45 days, it really started dropping off. It started exponentially losing its value. Well, a lot of option buyers, they like to buy in that final 45 days because the options are so cheap. They lost all of their value. Again, it's like a lottery ticket, right? But by doing this, you're stacking probability against you. What I'm going to do is if a buyer is working against probability, the seller gets the probability. So I'm going to sell in that window instead of buying. And to be more specific, we're going to be selling options that have a 21 to 45 day expiration. That's the actual sweet spot that we're looking for. Now let me show you this on an actual graph. This is Home Depot. Now most buyers will buy an option maybe with an expiration date out here, 45 days. Maybe even closer, right? Well, look at what happens in the last 45 days. The option buyer has to fight that option losing value dramatically. If an option buyer has to fight this, the option seller prospers from this. Let that decay work in your favor. There's always going to be people out there buying options that have those expiration dates too close. They need a seller. You may as well be that seller to them. Okay? Let him be the gambler. You be the casino, because you will win in the end. Now, the third mistake that buyers make is they simply just pay too much. They buy what's called an overpriced option. So let me show you what I'm talking about. This is one that a lot of people don't know. Here we've got two stocks. I want you to look at the top where those arrows are pointing. Both stocks are around the same price, 76 bucks. In fact, they're within like 10 cents of each other, 12 cents of each other, right? Even though the stocks have the same stock price, look at the option value. Way different. Over on the left, that option would cost you $910 to buy. Over on the right, it's going to cost you $180. Huge difference. 4 times more expensive than the one on the left. Why? Because that option on the left has extremely high volatility. That high volatility causes option prices to increase dramatically. Well, what's the big deal, right? It's 900 bucks. You got 5,000 or 20,000 in your account. It's no big deal. It's not about the cost here. It's about what the cost does. What happens to the buyer when they buy those overpriced options? Well, let's simulate. What happens if both of those stocks go up $8 per share? Let's say you bought 100 shares of each stock. You made 800 bucks on each stock. You just walked away with a $1,600 profit on both of them, right? But you're an astute trader. You want to buy an option. Why would you buy an option? Limited risk, nice leverage. You want to buy an option. So you buy a call on each one of those stocks. Guess what? The option on the left, you actually lost money on. The stock went up $8 a share, but you lost money. Over on the right, the stock went up and you made a 400% return on that option. Why did one win and one lose with the exact same parameters? It's because that option on the left had extremely high volatility. The premium was priced way too high. It puts the buyer at a huge disadvantage. And what's the central theme here? If the buyer is at a huge disadvantage, it's a huge advantage to the option seller. We're going to look for those extremely overpriced options and we are going to sell them. Because when we do that, we can increase our probability and we reduce risk. We can lose less money on a losing trade. Now, Bob has one of the most interesting stories I've seen. He said prior to working with us, he was making a bunch of the mistakes we talk about here, and it said it cost him dearly. In fact, he ended up either broke or bankrupt 3 times, and in his own words, came close to living under a bridge. Now, the options paycheck system helped Bob turn his situation around in as little as 4 months. He learned to turn these mistake liabilities into strategies to control and stack probability in his favor. In 4 months, he grew his account by 71% and had a 79% winning trade percentage. Remember, if you want to do that, if you want to control those returns and results, you got to learn how to control and stack probability in your favor. Now, let me ask you a question. I'm going to turn it over to you. In the chat window, let me know, have you ever actually made any of those buyer's mistakes? Have you done that for those of you who have traded options? Have you ever made mistakes like that? Just share with me in the chat. All right. All of them, Philip says. Stephen, all of them. Yup. Joe, Robert, Carl, Bo, Philip. I think I already said Philip, but that's okay. I'm reading through the list and it's going kind of fast, so I kind of can't keep up. We've all made those mistakes. I have too. Remember I told you my early story about, hey, Ron, I know you're not really an options guy. Well, I wasn't an options guy because I didn't like them. I hated the fact that I would make a trade, I'd get the direction right, but still not make a lot of money. I was making a lot of these same mistakes too, and it's not our fault. We were just not taught a proper strategy. We were taught broken systems. All right. Now, hopefully by now, you know and you really like the idea of being an option seller. So I want to take a look at how to trade with very little risk. And this is important because a lot of people that I talk to that have some knowledge option or some options knowledge, pardon me, they say, Ron, I've looked at this before and, but I've heard about selling. It's got a lot of risk and I don't know about this. I made, 40 winning trades and 3 bad trades, wiped it all out. Listen, this strategy that we teach, it's one of our core strategies I teach retirees, right? You don't need to be doing anything risky as a retiree. Why is reducing risk so important? Because those horror stories can be true. One bad trade can wipe out a bunch of winners. It can happen if you're not using a proper system. I've never had this happen to me before. Never. Now, it's not because I'm Ron Super Trader. It's because, remember, if you go back to my early story about the guy that taught me the initial options education I had, remember I told you could control risk right up front? I would never take a trade where this could happen. Really, it's that simple. Don't take trades where this could happen. Because if this happens, it becomes very hard to recover your losses. It takes a long time to recover. But to do it right, you got to have a built-in protection plan. Okay? You take care of risk management before you open the trade. When you can select stocks right, set up your trades in a way that reduce risk, it allows you to preserve and grow your capital. Like I said earlier, home runs look good, but those singles are what wins the game. One of the most common questions we get asked is, can I trade options from my IRA? Well, a client of ours, John, grew his IRA over 112% in 1 year using our options paycheck system. John had tried and struggled with trading for some time before working with us. He learned to follow the system and turned his inconsistent results into predictable monthly income. He said in 12 months, he enjoyed 85% winning trades and more than doubled the size of his IRA, spending no more than 15 minutes a day. Now, by the way, real quick here, I want to show you guys something. This was unplanned, but I just happen to have my Fidelity account open. One of the trades I trade is I trade the SPX. I trade SPX in this strategy. One of the things I want you guys to look at right here is I want you to look at this. How am I trading them? I'm trading them in a rollover IRA. So I'm actually trading the system in an IRA too. So yes, you can trade this in an IRA. I actually happen to have my Fidelity account open for you. I was checking on my position, so I opened up my account earlier. Okay? Now, the options paycheck system, make sure you reduce your risk even before you open the trade. First, we choose stocks that are very low risk. We have a very specific criteria. But in general, if we're bullish, we start by focusing on good stocks that are already rising in price. Very similar to what you see on the graph here. Then, instead of selling naked, we're going to sell protection. So let me show you how to do that. Now, traditional option selling systems leave you with all of this risk down here. What we're going to do with the options paycheck system, though, is shrink your risk down to this very, very small level. So let me show you how this works. This is a graph of a typical stock we'd be bullish on. It's a beautiful graph. So it's understandable to be bullish on a stock that looks like this. Now, traditionally, you like a stock, you go out there, you buy shares of it, right? Maybe you want to trade options, so you go out there and buy a call. You use the current stock price as a measure for where you buy your strike. But remember, you're not the buyer anymore, you're the seller. So here's what you're going to do. When you think a stock will go up, you are going to go underneath the current price of the stock, and you are going to sell a put. Stock's at 138, I go down to 135, for example, and I sell a put. Now, when you sell the put, they pay you for that. In this example, you get paid $200. Now, if you were trading 10 contracts, you get paid $2,000. Now, that's great, right? Well, remember, when you sell options, it's not like when you sell a car. You know, you sign your title over, you give the title to the other person, and it's gone. You collect your money and you're done. Selling an option is like an insurance policy, right? You pay your premiums, but the insurance company has to protect you. Same thing with an option. You have an obligation to do something until the option expires, kind of like your insurance company. So when you sell that option that you sold is going to go up and down every day, and you're in a trade. It'll gain, lose, just like any other trade that you make. All right? Now, the problem when you just sell an option and don't do anything else is it leaves you with all of this risk. If the stock made a tremendous move down to $100, you might have a trade where you might be able to make $200, but you might have to lose $5,000. That's terrible. You would never want to do that. Okay? What we want to make sure is that we have good downside protection. So we're going to use a built-in protection plan. As you sell the put, you are simultaneously going to go a little bit lower, and you are going to buy a put as insurance. That put costs you something, though. In this case, it's $100. However, you sold the put for $200, you bought the insurance for $100, you're still getting paid $100 to place this trade. That means the most that I can make on this trade is $100. If I traded 10 contracts, I get paid $1,000, and I can make up to $1,000 on this trade. Okay? Now, in the world, here's what this does. It gives you a trade where if the stock goes up, you will make money. You can make up to $1,000. If the stock goes sideways, you can make money up to $1,000. If the stock goes down, we are going to use that 135 price as a stop to exit the trade. And we will take a small proportional loss. We will have losing trades, but those losing trades will be proportional to our gains. Now, let's do this. I want to set up a couple of trades with you. Now, I'm going to be showing you some numbers, so pay attention. These are actually some trades that I did with my clients recently. Now, when the overall market is bullish, we're going to place bullish income trades. And what I want you to kind of direct your attention to here is picking options with at least a 60% probability of winning. Now, this is a trade that I took actually a few months ago. It was in June, July. Philip Morris was in a very nice uptrend. I'm sorry, this is Pulte Group, not Philip Morris. Philip Morris is PM, not PHM. PHM is in a nice uptrend, but let's zoom in closer. You're going to win if PHM stays above the strike price you pick prior to the expiration date in red. Now, I'm going to show you some options that you could sell. This is a bullish market. So remember what we're going to do. We're going to go underneath the price of the stock, and we're going to look at some option strikes. All right? We've got an option that would give you a 56% probability, a 73% probability, or a 91% probability. Now, what I want you to do in the chat, be honest, without knowing anything else about trading. If I came to you and said, hey, I'm going to give you a trade that has a 56% chance of winning, a 73% chance of winning, or a 91% chance of winning, which one would you pick? Be honest, which one would you pick? Knowing nothing else other than, hey, I've got a 91% chance, a 73% chance, or a 56% chance of making money. Which one would you pick? All right, 91%, 91%, 91%. Now, a couple of you are answering some different ones, and I get it, but here's what I want to talk about real quick. If you didn't know anything else about trading, you would probably, and I would hope actually, that you were drawn to that 91% option. Now, remember that slide I showed you earlier about one bad trade spoils a big winner? Well, this is how this works. Probability has its limitations. That 91% trade probability, I can do that. But the probability is you're going to make $100 on a winning trade, and you might lose $2,000 on every loser. So what good is winning 91% of the time if every time you have a loser, you're going to kill your balance? If I took that trade 10 times, I'm going to make $900, but that one loser is going to wipe out all my gains. So why do it? 91% looks good, but when you look at the actual numbers, it doesn't. Okay? Now, obviously, we wouldn't want to use 56% because that doesn't give you enough probability. Now, a couple of you had said that you would go for the 73%, and you're absolutely correct. I kind of gave you a tip about 60%. That 73% chance, what that does, it gives you a good probability of winning. Maybe there I can make $200. But when I lose, I only might lose $300. Okay? So for every winning trade, let's say I made 7 winning trades, I'll make $1,400. On those 3 losers, I'll lose $900. I'm going to come out ahead and make money. All right? So we're going to want to pick that nice area right around that 60 to 70% range. So that's exactly what we do. Now, in this trade, I want to show you exactly what I did. I did something called a bull put spread. I sold a $73 put, and I simultaneously bought a 70. I like the name of the trade because it's very obvious. Bullish because I think the stock's going to go up. Puts because I'm using puts. And spread because there's a $3 spread between the two options. Okay? Now, after only 3 days, the stock went up, and I made $876. That's it. The trade is over. It's done. Complete. I exit the trade. I made my potential profit. I walk away from the trade just like any other type of trade. We don't keep these till expirations. We get in with a profit plan, and we exit if it hits a certain loss, just like any other trade that you would do. Okay? Now, if the market becomes bearish, we place bearish trades. Target is a great example of this. I placed this trade in June. Overall market was bearish at the time. Target got slammed this year for a lot of different reasons. Let's zoom in a little bit closer. Now, we're going to win if Target stays below a certain strike price. Now, knowing what you know, I'm going to go out there, look at options between 21 and 45 days, and I'm going to look at the strike prices and the probabilities they give me. If I pick C, it gives me a 64% chance of winning. B, 76, or A, 85% chance. Okay? Now, which one would you pick for target? A, B, or C? A, B, or C? All right. A lot of folks are saying C. C, C, C. A couple of you are saying B. Some are saying C. So it's a little bit of a difference, B or C. Well, here's actually the trade that I did. Okay? I actually picked B. Now, why would I pick B? I could have technically, with a 64% chance of winning, I want greater than 60%. I could have chosen C too, to be honest with you, but I actually chose B. Now, if you remember when I talked about overpriced options, remember I said when options are really overpriced, you can actually increase your probability? That's what I was able to do with Target. Target was so overpriced, I was able to give myself more room to be profitable. And I was able to go all the way out to 76% in this case. So I did something called a bear call spread. I sold a $140 call and I bought a $145. This is called a bear call spread. Okay? Bearish because it's something you do when the market's bearish or the stock is bearish. Calls because I'm using calls. Spread because I have $5 between my options. Now this one, take a look. It didn't go directly down. It actually went sideways for a little while and then finally went down. And after 7 days, I made about $765. Now, by the way, that's my average winning trade. My average winning trade is about $780, and my average loser is right around $780 as well. I have a very good risk reward. I make about 7 and change. I lose about 7 and change on my trades. Why? Because that's the only types of trades that I take. I don't risk a lot of money in my trading. I'm very conservative. Now, another client I worked with is Jim. He said prior to working with me, he said his results were very inconsistent. He felt unsatisfied with them. He kept thinking there had to be something else out there that had to be better. You ever felt that way? Like there's something more out there? Jim said he wanted a way to supplement what he was doing to provide more of a regular income and had a higher probability of success. After learning the system of being an option seller, he went out and had 21 winners in a row. Had a 76% return in 8 months, and he said his average trade only lasted 8 days. Can you imagine how that must feel to be going inconsistent to where you get 21 winners in a row? Now let me ask you a question. Share with me in the chat. That was Jim. What about you? What if I was able to give you an income system that averaged 3% per month? What would that allow you to do in your life? Retire early, take more vacations, pay off your kids' student loans if they have them, pay off your house earlier. I want you to write it down. What would having an income system like this allow you to do? And while you're writing down, I want to check the market real quick. It's down 40 points. Good, because I'm bearish. I like it when my positions are good. Pay off the house earlier, play more golf. I love it, Richard. I'd like to do that too. Make me more comfortable. Retire earlier. Yeah, same thing here. Retire earlier, play more golf, travel a little bit more. All those things that extra income allow you to do. Now, we said before that buying is gambling and selling is about controlling risk and putting the odds of success in your favor. The paycheck system that we teach you has a guaranteed maximum risk. And it all goes back to whether you want to be the gambler or the casino, because keep in mind, the house always wins in the end. If you want to have consistent income, the option selling is the way that you do it. It's safer, has a higher degree of probability than just buying and selling stocks alone. Now, I want to put this together and I want to show you how you can have a bulletproof system, which you can do in as little as 15 minutes a day. Now, my students who have implemented this system have told me this is the most important thing they learned. Why? Because a big hurdle here is how much time is it going to take me? Am I going to go from one full-time job to another? Well, it's a great question. Here's your challenge. There's thousands of stocks out there. You got to find how to pick the right stock with the right strategy. When do you get in? What expiration? What do you do if it goes against you? When do you get out? All that stuff. And a lot of times it feels like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack because there's so much information out there, you don't know where to look. You spend hours researching trades or going from guru to guru looking for advice. Without a system, you're trading blindly. It's like that mouse running through a maze, hitting all the walls. You don't know where to go. It's stressful. It's disheartening. But with the right system, you can identify good trades. You can get reliable income in as little as 15 minutes a day. But to do that, you need a system. And not just any system, a straight line system, a simple way to know when to place your trades, how to find them, how to set them up, how to manage them. So let me walk you through the piece of the options paycheck system and the order they go in. No one else teaches option selling this way. This is like a secret sauce, if you will. There's 6 pieces, and the top 5 build on each other, and then the 6th kind of ties it all together. Well, we start at the top with market direction. And a lot of traders ignore this, and they just go out and start placing trades all over the place. Well, you're either going to be bullish or bearish. That's it. And that's based on what the market is doing. Remember how I just told you I wanted to check my positions? The market's down like 30-some points today, and I said, oh, good, because I'm bearish. The market is bearish right now. So I have a lot of bearish trades on. That's what I do. I follow the market direction. Then I go into my stocks. Since I know the market is down and we're in a downtrend, I look for stocks that are already in a downtrend. So trading the stocks you know or listening to gurus on TV, it's not the best choice. We're going to find stocks already in downtrends when the market is falling. And when the market's rising, we're going to find stocks that are in good uptrends. Now, we save a lot of time because we look at 2 primary things, fundamentals, and we look at the actual trend. All right, that's going to save you a lot of time. Now, once you have a list of stocks, you want a way to select the best ones for options trading. Now, remember, earlier we had a big look at how volatility affected options price. We're going to seek out those high premiums with high volatility. Then, to put a little bit more probability on your side, we're going to remove earnings from the picture. I don't want to trade anything that's got earnings coming. Earnings can make the stock do crazy things. And then I want to make sure my expiration is in that sweet spot. That way, if the stock doesn't go anywhere, that time decay will still allow me to make money. Now listen, you can use tools from your broker. We use a proprietary search tool which finds these things in just a matter of seconds. Now, got to set up your trade. We want to pick the one that has the highest probability of success based on the strike price that we choose to sell. However, we have to look at the risk reward. I can't just go out there and sell a 90% option. I can't just go out there and sell a 70%. I've got to look at how the risk reward sets up. I don't want to make a trade that's got an 80% chance of winning if I'm going to make $1,000 on a winner and lose 9,000 on a loser. Risk reward is critical here. Now, once your trade's set up, we want to know what to do if the trade goes not only for you, but against you. I don't want you sitting in a trade feeling like frozen in a deer in the headlights because you don't know what to do. Our paycheck system has rules to take profits at predetermined levels. You can actually set these orders up with your broker in advance. I showed you guys earlier my trade in Fidelity. I actually have an order right here to take profits on this trade. So if that trade hits profits, I'm going to get out of that trade automatically. I don't have to do anything. It's that simple. We're going to tell you where to exit your trades to take your losses. And some brokers, you can even set that up automatically. And we're also going to show you a simple repair strategy or adjustment that can help you reduce losses when you're wrong. Okay? You're going to know exactly what to do when you enter a trade. You'll never be that deer in the headlights again. And then lastly, you'd like a way to do this quickly. You don't want to be spending all day in the process. So tools that allow you to do these things that you're comfortable using. Now, some brokers have great tools. Thinkorswim has good tools. Fidelity has good tools. Interactive Brokers has good tools. These are the brokers that I use. Some tools that are paid for are very effective. I like to use tools from VectorVest called Options Pro and the VectorVest platform because it saves me a lot of time. Now, speaking of time, earlier we talked about Mike, Jim, Bruce, Brian, and each of them is getting the results in about 15 minutes a day, and so is Hugh. And he actually told me one of his biggest struggles was finding a system that was efficient and worked because he didn't have that proper balance between trading and free time. There was no work-life balance for him. And are you like that too? Do you spend too much time doing things you don't want to do and not enough time doing things that you want? Now that Hugh has learned the options paycheck system of selling options, he said he has more confidence, more free time, and is able to have more fun. In his first 43 trades, he said he had 38 winners with $26,000 in profits. So let's do this. I want you to take your pen. I want you to put a little star next to the part of the system where you're good. So for example, if you have a quick way to find a list of stocks that are likely to go in the direction of the market, put a little star there. That's an area of strength for you. But if there's an area where something isn't working or you need a little work, put a frowny face. For example, if you don't know how to manage or repair a trade, put a frown there. If you don't know how to set up an options trade, put a frown there. Don't overthink it. I'm going to give you about 15 seconds, and I want you to give yourself a star or a frown. Now, I bet maybe 1 in 100 investors will ever know how to do this. Well, I want you to share with me. Let me ask you, what areas do you need to work on? Go ahead and type those in the chat. Which areas do you need to work on personally? And the first one I see is all of them. All of them. Never traded options. Stephen, you said all of them. Now listen, if you've never traded options, to me, I think you got a bonus, right? I play golf. And one of the things that I wish that I could do is forget everything I know about golf and go get lessons right from the start. That way I learn how to golf properly. I haven't had to spend the last 20 years, overcoming all of my bad habits. If you're new to options trading, I understand a lot of this might look a little bit weird to you, but let me tell you something. I can teach you from the ground floor how to do this right. Okay? Trade setup and stock finder, last 4 boxes, Mike, all of them, Sean, Greg, stock and option. Option setup, never really did them, Elaine. Richard, stock finder, trade management. All right, listen, the end goal here is now that you know some weaknesses, you know where to focus on. And what I want to be able to do with you is to get all check marks all the way down, because once you do, you can do this in as little as 15 minutes a day. So listen, I can't know your exact reasons for coming to today's webinar, but I'm going to make a few educated guesses. Maybe you've been trading blindly, not knowing what to do. You're bumping into one wall into the next. And that's leaving you with inconsistent results. You make a little bit of money, you give it all back on your next trade. Kind of like what Jim did before he learned the options paycheck system. Maybe you've been suffering through loss after loss, and those small losses are just killing your portfolio. Maybe the money coming out isn't exceeding the money going in. Ultimately, maybe you're just not where you want to be. Now today, I showed you the secret to fixing that. And it's a secret, again, I bet only 1 in 100 investors will ever know, and now you're one of them. You saw it's possible to win even if your market prediction is wrong. That if you do it right, with the right trade, with the right insurance, you can do it with very little risk. Even less risk than buying and selling stocks. You saw the system that's going to lead you through step by step to get consistent income. Now, I showed you just a few of the many people who use the system every day so they never have to worry about retirement again. You saw over and over the secret to generating your consistent income is that shift from being a gambler to being the casino. Now remember, you're going to be that one investor out of 100 who knows this secret. That means there's 99 other investors out there who will continue to do things wrong. They'll be buying options and making all those mistakes we talked about. Now listen, you can't stop them from doing it. There's always going to be those investors out there who will buy options incorrectly. Let them be the gamblers. As long as there's always gamblers out there, they need a casino. Remember the old saying that the house wins in the end? The options paycheck system is what's going to teach you how to be the casino, how to stack odds in your favor. Just like you saw Brian was able to accomplish, and Bruce, and Bob, and Jim, and Hugh, and John. Now, if you're like a lot of people, you're wondering, well, how do I implement this paycheck system in my portfolio right now? Well, you've got a choice. Option 1 is you can choose to do nothing and stay exactly where you are right now. And if you already had enough money to retire and you're not worried about running out of money, then you maybe don't need the paycheck system. And that's great. I applaud you. But if you would like to make some extra income every month, that leaves you with 2 other options. Option 2 is you can do it alone. Try to learn how the option trades work. Try to figure out the direction of the market. Learn to analyze the thousands of stocks to find the best ones to trade. And then hope you pick the right one. Manage it correctly. So listen, if you're willing to spend hours in front of your computer and work hard, work by trial and error, you may be able to pull it off. But option 3 is your simple choice. Let us guide you through it. I'll walk you through each piece of the paycheck system, and in just a few weeks, you'll have a simple system to follow that doesn't take a lot of time. Now, there's 2 types of people. Person number 1 is someone who dreams about their financial goals, but never takes action or does anything to make it happen. You're serious about person number 2 is serious about your financial future. You're ready to take action when you see an opportunity in front of you. Now, since you're dedicated enough to be with me to this point, I'm willing to bet you're person number 2, and that makes you the perfect candidate to get started on that first options paycheck. So let me tell you what we put together for you. The options paycheck experience is the most comprehensive program for generating consistent income using option spreads, even if you've never traded an option before. The options paycheck experience is the only implementation program of its kind that teaches the secret to generating consistent income with options. It shows you exactly how to find, set up, and manage option spreads to generate income and do it safer and more consistently in any type of market condition. So you'll never have that fear of running out of money. After going through this experience, you're going to know exactly how calls and puts work, along with having all those fancy terms. You'll never have the fear of options. You're going to have clear signals telling you whether to place a bullish, a bearish, or actually when not to trade. You're going to be able to quickly identify the stocks that make the best candidates for your options income trades using a rules-based approach which frees up time in your life. You're going to be able to set up income trades that give you a 70% statistical probability of success, even if you've never traded an option before. You're going to have a trade management game plan in place prior to placing your trade, so you know what to do with any situation the market throws at you. We're going to show you how to confidently enter and exit trades with your broker. So whether you're a pro and it's your 500th trade or your first trade, you're going to be able to confidently do this. We're going to help you implement a system that's going to help generate safe and consistent income. That way you can live the lifestyle you want without that fear of running out of money. Now, the course is 8 modules, and we made them so each module builds on the one prior. As you go through the modules, you're getting closer and closer to that end goal, which is a system for consistent income. Now, the first module that we teach you is the income foundation. A lot of people try to build a successful income portfolio, but they base that portfolio on a weak foundation of knowledge. Now listen, I understand what it's like to learn options for the first time. We've been there. That's why it pays to learn from a team who's gone through this before. The outcome from Module 1 is you're going to know exactly how calls and puts work so you can confidently use them in your trades. You're going to know which terms to pay attention to, which to ignore, so you don't waste time or get frustrated. Module 2, you're going to learn what a spread is and how it works. You're going to be filled with confidence to start building that income system around these new trades. In Module 3, now that you've got that foundation of options knowledge constructed, we're going to lay out the step-by-step system to placing these income trades so you can generate those paychecks. Now, each step along the way stacks probability in your favor and reduces risk. And it all starts with knowing when to trade. Here, you're going to get complete clarity on market trends. Instead of focusing on all the possible trades, you're going to narrow your focus. You'll know whether to place a bullish trade or a bearish trade, and even when not to trade. Now, after you know the direction of the market, we want to find stocks that are highly likely to move in the same direction. That's going to stack probability even more in our favor. And the outcome here is you're going to know how to quickly find the best stocks and indexes that give you that highest probability. Now that you got your list of stocks, it's time to narrow it down to the best options candidates that give you the highest probability for profits. By using the rules in this module, you'll make sure you're getting paid top dollar for your trade and making it so you can make money even if the stock goes nowhere. Now you're going to continue to stack probability and reduce risk in Module 6 by the way you set your trade up. Here, you'll make sure your trade has the perfect combination of risk to reward, and you'll know exactly where to set your strikes up. Great trades don't happen by accident. They're the result of careful planning and strategically setting them up correctly from the beginning. Now that you got your trade picked out and you're ready to go, Module 7 teaches you your exit strategies. Not only when to profit with gains, but how to profit from losses and even minimize your losses in certain situations. You will never be frozen like a deer in the headlight again. No matter what the market throws at you, you'll know how to react and be stress-free in your trades. And now that you found the best stock, set up your low-risk, high-probability trade, you mapped out your game management plan, well, now we got to place the trade. This module is going to break down the trade execution phase into simple, repeatable steps that you will commit to muscle memory in no time. We've even put everything you need into a checklist. That way you don't miss a step. So when you're first starting out, these checklists are like a security blanket. It makes sure you do everything correctly. Plus, placing trades with your broker can be kind of intimidating sometimes. So in addition to video walkthroughs of several popular brokers, we put together click-by-click directions for the most popular broker, Thinkorswim. Now, before we talk about the low price of the course, I want to make it even more low risk for you. I've been doing this course now for like 7 years. Okay? I offer 100% money back guarantee on the course. You can go through the entire course, and if you're not satisfied that we taught you the proper way to profit and create income from options, just notify us within a week of finishing the course and you get all your money back. It's completely no risk. All we ask is that you give it your best effort. Come to the classes, watch the recordings, do the assignments. Because we know if you do, you will get results. If you don't do the work, you won't be eligible for a refund. Now, the reason I have such a tight refund policy is because I only want to attract those who are incredibly excited to jump in, do the work, and get the results. So all we ask is that you actually do the course. Whether you watch it live or you do the recordings, I don't care which. Just do the course. And remember, when you do the system, you'll be learning a system that has averaged over 3% per month. Okay, that's 36% per year, and it doesn't take a lot of time to do it every week. I received this email from a client who took the course. Ron, I'm writing to thank you for teaching the Options Paycheck course. I took your class last fall and wanted you to know my results for the past 10 months. I keep a journal to document every trade, and so far I've profited on 239 trades out of the 350 I've taken, 68% win rate. I've profited over $100,000 in this time. What's more exciting is that since my knowledge and experience have grown in regards to taking really good risk-reward trades, I've profited over $50,000 in the last 6 weeks. My success rate has been 78% over my last 100 trades, and I only take trades with a 2-to-1 or better risk-reward. Thank you for teaching this simple but very effective system. That's awesome. Now, if I told Joe that I'd give him $100,000 in exchange for his $2,000, do you think he would take that? Would you take that trade? Well, I'll be making you an even better offer than, as you're going to see here in a second. Now, before I tell you more about it, I want to point something out here. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme, so it's not something you should expect to become a millionaire in the next 24 hours. It's serious and requires some effort on your part, so if you're not going to commit to it, then don't do it. It's not for you. It's for serious people who take their investing seriously, who are willing to put in the time to learn the system. So if you're serious about this, you're ready to do the work and get the results, then the Options Paycheck course is perfect for you. It is step-by-step training to go from option basics to a full, complete income-generating system. Just these training modules alone are worth the price of the course. But we've got some amazing bonuses for you as well. The first bonus is what we call the Mastery Package. This is module by module mastery sessions. Each week, we're going to have 2 mastery sessions, one dedicated to each module. So we're going to do this over 4 weeks. Every week, we want you to do 2 modules. You watch the recordings, and then we do a live Q&A or a mastery class. That's going to help you have any questions. It's a Q&A. You can send us emails. You're going to have plenty of opportunities to get your questions answered. It's a live session, these mastery sessions. We're going to go through the review. We're going to go through the quizzes. We're going to go through the assignments, just to make sure that as you're watching the videos, you're getting the full knowledge of what we want to teach you. And again, this also includes another weekly Q&A, a private dedicated email, and then access to our VectorVest and Options Pro software, starting with the live portion. Okay? Now, the second bonus is huge. This is what we call Implementation Month. You're going to get access to my live trading sessions. Every Monday, I do live trading with my clients. This is where I place my actual real trades in my real account. You're going to be able to watch that with me. You're going to be able to see me implement the paycheck system. This is a huge bonus. You can follow along in your own account if you want to. Plus, I'll hold weekly office hour sessions twice a week. This is just another way for us to get together, look at the trades that we took, look for more trade potentials, just ways for you in that second month to make sure you're ready to physically place these trades. Okay? Our past students have said this is their favorite part of the course. Watching that repetition helped cement the concepts and the process for them. We're also going to include our SPX paycheck system. So if you're worried that finding stocks and all that might be too much, well, guess what? I'm including our paycheck SPX system. This is where I take the entire course, boil it down to something that you can do in 15 minutes a week. One trade type on one symbol with one setup rule, one profit rule, one stop criteria. This is simple and easy to do. So simple that my teammate Brian taught his 14-year-old daughter at the time, and she was able to place these trades without any problems. For a lot of my students, this is the only system they use. So, as a recap, with today's offer, you're going to get the complete Options Paycheck Training Program, 8 training modules, videos, checklists, cheat sheets, quizzes, slides, everything. The bonus mastery package, the implementation month bonus, and that SPX system. Total value of that offer is $54.75. But here's what I want to do. Here's the opportunity. I'm going to roll up my sleeves and work with a couple hundred people who are serious about generating income. And if you choose to be one of them, together we're going to create an income system in your portfolio, even if you've never had success with options before. So if you want to join me, have me take you by the hand and help you install this in your portfolio, then instead of that $4,000, the early bird price of this course is only $12.95. Now, if you need to make it easier, we do have a 3-payment option. You can get started today for $4.95 and then 2 additional installments of $4.95 each 30 days apart. But since you've spent an hour with me today, here's what I want to do just for you. If you order before the end of our live webinar, then instead of paying that $12.95, you can get it for $9.95. That means you'll get the full course, 1 year of access to the course materials, all for $9.95. The bonus package, the mastery package, the implementation package, all of that. It's only going to be available for those who register before we finish up today. Once we finish, the price goes right back up to $12.95. If you're ready, go to www.optionspaycheck.com. Get yourself signed up to take advantage of that bonus. Now, ask yourself, what's it going to cost you not to do this? How much money are you going to lose by trying to learn this by trial and error? How much potential profit are you going to miss out on? How much time and energy are you going to spend trying to do this on your own? And then ask yourself, how would your life be different if you did it and it worked? You know, there's a saying that the best time to plant an oak tree is 20 years ago, so you could be sitting under it now enjoying its shade. Do you know when the second best time is? It's today. It's not too late to prepare yourself for retirement and learning how to generate income. You know, today's going to be one of those deciding days in your life. Is it going to be the day you decide to take action and set yourself up for a secure retirement? Or is it going to be the day you look back on where you squandered an amazing opportunity to create a consistent income stream? I hope you don't regret the choice you make. Don't miss this opportunity. I take the privilege and want to work with you in class. So again, go to www.optionspaycheck.com and get yourself registered. That $9.95 price is only available while we're live on the webinar. So if you've never taken the course before and you want the lowest possible price, go there now and get signed up for it. Because after this, it increases to $12.95. Don't wait or you're going to miss out. Okay? Now, before we get to the official Q&A, I want to cover some of the most common questions I hear. And the first one is simply this. When are the live sessions? When does the class actually start? The class starts on October 31st, and it starts with our live welcome. Now, on November 1st, we're going to start your subscriptions of Options Pro and VectorVest to coincide with the start of the live curriculum. And you're going to see through the weeks of November, we want you to do 2 modules a week. You're going to watch the recordings on our university site, and then we're going to get together Wednesday and Thursday evenings at 4:30 to discuss them. You'll have already watched them. We'll discuss them with you, do the assignments and everything. And then on Fridays at noon Eastern time, we'll do another Q&A. Now, we have a lot of live curriculum in November, and the reason why we do that is because we want to give you lots of opportunities to get with us live. You don't have to. Probably about 40% of the people who take the curriculum never come to a live class. And that's okay. I record all this for you. So if you can't attend live, no big deal. It's recorded and you'll be able to see the recordings. But we want to make sure that you are able to get with us live as often as you can. So that's what the month of November looks like. Now, fast forward into December. We start our live trading on November 27th. And then we have office hours the 29th and December 1st. Now, what are the office hours? The office hours are simply this. Time for us to get together, discuss the live trades we did, and maybe even put some more on. And then you'll see that we've got 4 live sessions on Monday at 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. going through nearly the end of December. Now, keep in mind, okay, we record all of this. So if you can't make the live sessions, you're not going to miss out. We record them and you can view them just like anybody else. So the course runs through November and December. You get Options Pro and VectorVest for November and December to experience it. And then after that, you're ready to trade on your own. Now, one of our other clients who just recently graduated, Greg said, prior to the course, I struggled with knowing how to protect myself when the market was moving away from me. And I feared if I didn't fix it, I'd lose more of my portfolio than I could afford to use. After taking the options paycheck, I feel better prepared to trade and much more confident. In the first month, I made a net of $10,200 from options income trading with 9 winners and only 1 loser. I would absolutely recommend the course. It was well done, very educational and informative. It's an excellent educational opportunity that I'm thankful that I took advantage of. Don't let fear hold you back. You can make more in your first month than you paid to take the course. I was one of those fence sitters who didn't take this course for a long time when I saw it offered. I lost a lot by not taking this program sooner. I'm very grateful and appreciative of the work that has been put into making this training program available. Now, you might ask yourself, how much options experience do I need? Remember I told you guys earlier, I like working with beginners because I can teach you from the start how to do it right. We've actually polled our prior attendees, and 85% of them said that they believe that you can be successful with little to no prior options experience. So you can do this as a beginner. Just a few more of our comments that we've heard from our clients. Cheryl, I've surpassed my expectations. I don't need the money back guarantee because I tripled my investment. We've heard from Bruce. Frank, after taking the course, I've already had a profit of $7,300. Before the course, it was a crapshoot. Now I believe in the options trades I'm doing. Cam made back the initial investment so many times over. Even though it's a small part of my portfolio, it's probably the most profitable. Jake, I finally found a method of making consistent winning trades with a high probability of success. These are people just like you. So get out there, go to optionspaycheck.com, get yourself registered. $9.95 price is only available while we're live on the webinar. After that, it goes back up to $12.95. Registration will close on November 31st, on that Tuesday. So get yourself signed up. And do me a favor, if you're going to sign up, give us a shout out in the chat and say, hey, Ron, I'm in. Now, a couple of more comments from our sort of recent students. Neville had said, thanks for a wonderful course where within a short time you've opened our eyes to many things. Your experience, enthusiasm, and your desire to teach comes through easily. You put out a lot of thought into the training manual, and I've already paid for my tuition with a few Delta 35 SPX trades. David said, the options paycheck experience is by far the best course I've ever attended all my years of VectorVest since '99. You've eliminated my fear of trading options. The manner in which you present the material is truly outstanding. Ben says, the attention I received for all of my email questions was above and beyond what I expected. A lot of my questions were demonstrated in class, and that made my learning experience much easier. Great job. I love it. So get out there, www.optionspaycheck.com. Get yourself registered. It's not too late, $9.95 until the end of the live webinar. All right, at this point, I'm going to bring Brian in, my colleague, and we're going to do a Q&A to answer any questions that you might have. Good. How are you, and how was it back there?
It's great. A lot of excitement in the chat. We'd love to see that. I just saw Richard just typed in. He said, I just signed up, and he has a bunch of exclamation points. That's great to see. So if you're with Richard and others who are signing up, welcome. Great to have you on board. As Ron said, the first live class will start in a couple of weeks. So you have immediate access to the course. You just get right in there today, this afternoon, and start going through the recorded modules. And you could be up and running and placing a trade very quickly. As some people, I think, Ron, you talked about how somebody who jumped ahead to the bonus module a couple of classes ago, and they were placing the S&P trades within a week of ordering, actually before you started your live sessions.
Very true, yep.
So you guys could, that's one thing you could do. I think we mentioned that earlier, but you can jump, when you log in, when you order the course, you can get in there and you can even jump ahead to the bonus module. That you could go through that in about an hour, hour and a half, and learn how to do S&P trades and place your first one Monday. That would be a good day to pick. All right, so Ron, let me say one more thing before I give you the first question that came in. Those of you who are in, if you do want, there is a link in an email we sent you. There's all directions and everything, and in a little bit we'll show you what the course looks like. But if you go to your email, just check your email for an email from us. It'll have all the dates and the times and a recap of how to log into the course. So check it out, and you can get in there and start going through the course. All right. So, Ron, we had a couple of questions that did come in, so I'm going to pass them over to you. You actually answered several of the other questions as you were going through there at the end. But we had a gentleman ask, let me find his name so he knows we are answering his question. His name is Elliot. He says, what type of option trading approval does one need from the brokerage firm?
Typically, all you would need, and it really depends on the broker you use, but typically you would need level 2 or level 3. Level 2 or level 3. So that would get you done in most cases.
All right, fantastic. And by the way, I'm going to go back to the thing I mentioned a moment ago about the email that everybody gets. I saw somebody say, I haven't received the email just yet. One thing you could double check is check your junk or your spam folder, because we notice a lot of emails go there. So junk or spam, if you see it there, drag it over to your inbox and mark it as safe or not spam. If you might also have duplicate email addresses in our system, or maybe we mistyped your email. In that case, you could always just call the phone number on your screen there and let our team know that you have not received the welcome email, and they could resend it manually, or double check your email address in our system to make sure it's correct. All right, so Ron, going back to some of the questions, you were talking about the live sessions, and I believe you talked about this, but I think it's worth repeating about was there a couple of people who are concerned about missing a live session? So can you recap that again? Like if somebody's not available for like every one of the live sessions, is that a big deal? If they miss one, what happens? That type of thing.
Yeah, not a big deal at all. So all of those live sessions I showed you guys earlier, and I can kind of put them back up on the screen real quick. All of these live sessions through November and December, they're all recorded. So you can go through just watching the recorded sessions on the university site. All of these sessions in November and December we record. We usually put the recordings out there, usually within 8 to 12 hours. But you can easily just watch all of our recordings and get the full benefit, if you will, of the options paycheck system. So no worries if you can't attend live.
All right. A couple of things about pricing. Was somebody named Anurag on our YouTube stream is asking a question about that. But if you are in, let's see, if you've taken this course before, this specific options paycheck course, we do have a refresher rate, which is like $4.95. So if it's been, let's say, over a year since you've taken it and you want to get back through it and go and just get a refresher, there's that. If you've taken we have a S&P challenge or SPX income challenge, there is a discount for that since you've already purchased a different course. We would have sent you a private email with a link for you. But if Anurag, if you could just give our team a call at the phone number there, there is a discount if you've taken that course as well. All right, so hopefully that's not confusing for everybody. But the $9.95, great price for this. You probably saw Ron show you several examples of how people have been able to just make that back very quickly. So speaking of that, Ron, why don't we let's just show people the options paycheck site, and then we'll actually go into the course after that. So everybody, if you go to optionspaycheck.com, and then we'll come into the course.
Sorry.
Yeah, because we just actually added something to optionspaycheck.com that I'll highlight. But let me just first highlight this, that you have 11 minutes for the $9.95 rate, and then it goes back up to $12.95. But on this page, all you have to do is click on the Register Today button. And when you click on Register Today, it'll bring you down lower on the page to where you could choose your payment option. So, Ron, if you just click on that, we'll kind of walk people through it. You see how it says $9.95 webinar special. It just makes sense to do that. It's just a pretty big discount. If you click Buy Now and Save, if you are already a VectorVest member or have a VectorVest username and password, when you're brought to another screen, just hit Sign In at the top and put in your username and password for VectorVest, and that way this course goes on your account. If you are brand new to VectorVest and you don't have a username and password, that's the only reason you'd want to fill in the first name, last name, and email. All right? Okay. Ron, if you go back one to the options paycheck site, the page you were just on. Yeah. We just added something on here because we do have a few of these testimonials right below there. If you scroll down just a smidge, Ron, we only had 6 of them there. But we just added a link as well where it says view all testimonials. Over the years, there's a lot more people who've gotten tremendous results. But if you want to read some more of the details of some of the people who've gone through the course, here's some short snippets from them. But if you want to read their full testimonial, you can just click on read more. You might find somebody who's just like you, who's thinking of taking the course. But check out that page. There's a whole bunch on there. And if you have questions, you could always let us know.
Cool. Right. I never even see that either. I'll have to go back and read all their testimonials too.
We don't need to swell Ron's head of all the. All right. I think to answer a couple of the other questions about like specifically what's in the course, Ron, a moment ago you were going to show people. You actually had it up there of what the course looks like.
Right.
Maybe why don't we just show people what it looks like, and I think that'll answer some of the other questions, and we'll kind of start at the top and kind of work down.
Okay, cool. So when you log into the course and you buy it, it's going to have a little welcome up here, and we want you to go right to Let's Get Started. Because in that let's get started and watch me first, I mean, there's a nice little video that just talks about the basics of what we're doing, kind of like what you saw early on in our class today. We have a welcome session that we do that we'll actually post up there, but if you go in there, it's going to be released November 1st. And then most importantly in this section, I want to point this out, the course curriculum checklist. This is important because this checklist is going to have really everything that, you can put questions in there that you're talking about or questions that you had when you're going through the modules. And, most importantly, what it's going to have the schedule. So print that out. There's your schedule of all of our live events through November and through December. Then I'll only go through one module with you. Through the modules, this happens to be module 1. You'll notice that in the recorded lessons, we break all the lessons down into usually short videos. The short videos can run anywhere from, 5 to 15 minutes, maybe some a little bit longer, some a little bit shorter. But these are all broken down into kind of like chapters, if you will, lessons. And then we have a review. We have review questions. Now, we go through these quizzes with you in the live mastery Q&A, but we also have a video answer for you. So if you want to watch the video of me going through it, you can. Every module has an action item because we want you not just to learn, but we want you to be doing too. Don't just read about it. We want you to go out there and actually do it with your broker, with your platform, whatever you're using. So we have videos for action items, how to do things, FAQs, frequently asked questions that come from each module. And then you'll notice that under every module, there's the mastery session recording. Now, what we do is we keep all of our mastery session recordings from our prior class. Like I just finished one last month. So you can actually go out there. And if you're the type that likes to go ahead, you can look at our mastery sessions from prior classes. And then when we do the live one with you, this one I think will be on November 1st, if I'm not mistaken, for the mastery session. We'll update all of these with your recordings from your class. As you scroll down, there's the rest of the 8 modules. There's the bonus module for the SPX. So if you want to start learning the SPX system, you can go right there and do it. This is going to be where our Q&As are recorded. So if you click on week 1, you'll see a Q&A. This happens to be the last one I did with my class previous to yours. That'll be updated as we go through each of these new ones live. Our live trading session recording. So if you actually want to go out right now and see the live trades that I did with my students in September, you can. You can see me implement the system live. These are some videos for the Options Pro. Remember, you're going to get Options Pro and VectorVest for 2 months from November and December to experience it and use it. It's not necessary. You don't need to keep it if you don't want to, but we let you use some of our tools to show how they work. We have broker help videos for a lot of different brokers. Fidelity, I just added Fidelity recently. And then one of the important things is webinars. So we battle with this all the time, where you sign up for a course and for some reason you don't get the link for the live curriculum. Well, we take care of that. In the university site, if you go to live webinars, here's a link, and these will all be active with all of the links, okay, for the course. So if you're ever missing an email link and say, Ron, it's Tuesday and I don't know where to get the welcome link, it's right there, just in case it didn't come via email. And then also under resources, this is where you're going to be able to download all of the slides. So module 1 has a bunch of slides. You can download them in black and white and color. The worksheets, as you get a little bit lower, you'll notice we start adding things like checklists and position sizing worksheets. And under the bonus SPX, we got a couple of things from brokers there and a trade tracking spreadsheet. So this course is complete. We give you everything that you need to be successful. You have my word on that. And if you don't, and it's backed up, by the way, by a money back guarantee. So keep that in mind too.
Excellent. Very thorough, Mr. Wheeler. And it looks like Jeff, and he had said, he was one person who said he didn't get the email. He says, now I got the email. So maybe there was just a little bit of a delay in getting the email. And he also brought up a great comment. Those of you who purchased the course, if you are already a member, what you might need to do is when you access the VectorVest University to get into your course, you may just need to first sign out and then sign back in, and then the course will populate in there for you. It's kind of like a little bit of a refresh of your account to see the new course that you just purchased so you can get in there and use it. All right. Next up, Ron, is this something that you talked about earlier, but is this a trading system or something that somebody can do in a retirement account?
Yes, you can. Now, listen, not every retirement account. I know there's like a Canadian one, like a RRSP or something that you can't do this in. But here in the U.S., most brokers will allow you to do this in an IRA. Like, for example, I showed you guys earlier that I do this in my IRA. This happens to be a trade on the S&P 500 I have on right now. So, yes, there are some things called a limited margin IRA that you can do. And I just Googled it real quick. And then you can kind of see, IRA, limited trading margin in IRA, using margin with your IRA, what you need to know, what is a limited or IRA margin account. So there is something called a limited margin IRA account where you can do these trades in them. Just talk to your broker beforehand, let them know what you're doing. Tell them, hey, I'm taking a course on spreads and I want to do this in my IRA. Let them know that you're taking a course on it.
All right. Next up. Now, Ron, some of the testimonials were from people, they actually say that they placed trades during the course and were able to pay for the course before it even ended. So that's something that we battle with. We'd love for people to finish the course and then place the trades, but some people go ahead and watch some of the modules. If somebody is thinking about purchasing the course and they say, how long will it take to actually start to see the results of the investment in this course? What would you say to them?
It's open. Like you said, some people right off the bat, they're ready to place trades as soon as December when we open up our live trading. That's great. Some people might need to take a little time. They want to see me do it for a couple of weeks, or they want to paper trade for a little bit. The key is do everything right, follow the guides, follow the checklists, and you will start making money. Again, it's up to you when you want to start your first trading. But as long as you follow what we teach you, you will start being successful at this. It's as easy as that. So, it just depends on how fast you're ready to place your trades. But we're going to be doing live trades, right around that last week in November, pardon me.
All right, fabulous. There was a question from Daniel on the YouTube stream, and I guess I could answer. This is one I answered already, but I'll answer it from Daniel. He says, if you sign up today, can you access the modules immediately? And Daniel, the answer is yes. Simply just go to university.vectorvest.com and sign in. And you might need, if you're already signed in, you might need to sign out and then sign back in, and you will see the course there for you. So thanks for the question, Daniel. I forgot to mention this earlier. Those of you who are here at the beginning and you heard Ron mention that checklist, if you stayed to the end, about 15 minutes ago, I put that checklist into the handouts area of GoToWebinar for you. So you could just go to the handouts area, you could download it. If you've purchased the course, you might not need that checklist because you're going to get there's going to be a bunch of checklists and cheat sheets and everything inside the course waiting for you. If you're listening in on YouTube, I put a link into the YouTube chat for you. All right, next up, Ron, is during the course, you mentioned all the live schedule. Is there, what if somebody needs help during the course? Is it something where they're just going to buy a course and just, it's kind of like all on them to be successful? Or is there a support system that from us here at VectorVest where we can help them?
Yeah, there's definitely a support system. We ask you to get a hold of us through email. Now that email, just so you know, is not some kind of black hole abyss. That email goes to only 4 people here at the company, and the 4 people are me and the folks that teach the options paycheck. And my whole job here at VectorVest is options paycheck, my coaching plan. It goes right to us. You're going to get an answer within 24 hours in 99% of the cases, oftentimes in the same day. If we need to get on the phone with you about something, we can certainly do that. We have a full team of support staff that can, but you've got plenty of opportunities to get our help and get our support if you need it, for sure.
All right. Well, with that, it looks like it's rounding out to about 1:30. The registration closes for good. Registration closes in a couple of weeks, so a little less than 2 weeks from now. The discount, I believe that the timer ended a few seconds ago. But if you do have questions and you want to get registered, even if it's at the $12.95 rate or the 3 monthly payment, it is something. It is an investment, but it is an investment that should, we can't promise, right? But it should be returned to you many times over going forward. So those of you who there's more people in the chat that are now saying I'm in. Like they wanted to say it at the very last minute before we wrapped up. So Mukesh, Elaine, Mike, welcome to all of you. Great to have you in the course. But Ron, I'm going to pass it over to you so you could wrap up for the afternoon here.
All right. Well, thank you, Brian, and thank you to all of my other colleagues in the background that have been answering questions this whole time. And a special thanks, of course, to you that attended today. I definitely appreciate your last 90 minutes with me. It was a privilege to show you this system. And again, something I've been doing now for 15 plus years in my own trading, and something I'm very proud of to teach. And thank you all again for attending, and thank you to those of you that are signing up. I'm really looking forward to start working with you. Really in 2 weeks at this point. It's right around the corner. So get signed up, watch a couple of the videos, take your time, relax. Right around November, we're going to start up, and we're going to teach you this system, get you ready to go for December, and help you make some good income in 2024. So thanks again, everybody. I appreciate it, and we'll see you all for the live Options Paycheck experience in November. Thanks again, everyone, and have a great rest of your day and a great rest of the year. Thanks again, everyone.